turning your pet's photo into beautiful oil painting with the help of Luminar NEO can be quite easy. So, if you want to follow me along, I will show you how to do that right now. Okay, so moving into Luminar NEO, where as usual we are starting in the catalog module and we are looking at our sample files. Now, quick reminder, if you want to follow me along, the easiest thing to do is to jump into the description of this video, follow the link there and download the sample files now. Inside of the sample files, you will find a frame, which we borrowed from our brand new Furry Bundle. More about that later. We also going to get this canvas texture and also the dog, just so you can practice if you don't have pet of your own. Anyway, how is it going to be done? How are we going to end up from this image all the way here? Well, it may come across little complex, but when we break it into individual steps, you will see it's going to be really simple. So let's say that we have our dog, the sample image, or maybe it's your dog. Now, what we need to do first is to turn it into oil painting. Unfortunately, at this moment, Luminar NEO cannot do this for us, so we're going to use the help of ChatGPT. The advantage of using this application or platform is that it's for free. You can generate 2 images for free every 4 or 5 hours, and all you're going to need to do is to register there. So we're going to turn our photo into the image, and then we're going to add it to the frame. And with few additional adjustments, textures and overlays, we end up with really cool result. So the first thing we're gonna do is to take our photo and bring it into ChatGPT. Once you get into ChatGPT, make sure that you log in. And then all I want you to do is to jump into the description of this video and copy and paste the prompt from there. Once you do that, you will see that we're going to get this text. Now it talks about portrait of the dog in a style of Rococo oil painting. It also asks ChatGPT to use the soft pastel colors like rose pink, antique gold, muted teal, also delicate lighting and visible brushstroke. After that, I talk about a little bit of the style of the image, and more importantly, I talk about maintaining the dog's natural pose and features. I want the result to look just like our original photo. After that, again, I go into the details about the color grading, lighting and brushwork to create result very close to 18th century aristocratic painting. So again, you don't have to write it yourself, copy and paste this prompt from the description of this video. The only thing you need to do, if you're working with image of another pet, not dog, just adjust the word dog here and one more time add the maintains the dog's natural pose. So, for example, you would just change it to cat and the cat's natural pose here. Once you have the text in and it's adjusted, all you need to do is to click on the plus sign. Here, click on upload from computer and then navigate towards the location of the sample files. If you're using your own image, you're more than welcome to select it, but we will take our dog example and click on open. You will see it's going to take a second for the dog to appear, and once it's ready, this little arrow will be available. So what we're gonna do, simply click on it and wait for ChatGPT to create our image. Once the image appears, which can take a minute or 2, you can hover over it and simply click on the little arrow to download it. Once the image is downloaded, there is nothing left to do in ChatGPT, so we're gonna head back to Luminar NEO, where we are still in catalog module. Here, what we're gonna do, we're gonna select the frame image and move it into the edit module. And this is where the fun is going to start. We're gonna add our dog. So how to do that? Well, we're gonna use layers. So let's head into layers panel, click on a plus sign and click on load image or add image if you're using Windows machine. From here, navigate towards the sample files. Now, if you want, you can use the image we have just generated, or you can use the sample image which is already available. It's up to you. But for me, I'm just going to use the image that is already part of the sample files so you can follow me along. Once we have it added, all we need to do is to click on it and add it to our photo. Now, just to make sure that we have the right ratio, what we're going to do, we're going to jump into layer properties and just click on fit. This way, nothing is stretched, everything is good. Now it's a little bit transparent. That's because the opacity is on 50%, but actually that's good for us because now we can go and use the little handles to adjust the size and also rotate it around to adjust its rotation and position. So let's have a look at it. How big the dog should be. I think somewhere around here. Now this is quite individual. Obviously, I mean, the body is there. I'm thinking probably somewhere around here, maybe with a little bit of the fur going around, rotating it. Yeah, probably around here. If you want, you can zoom in a little bit closer using the wheel on your mouse or Command or Control Plus. And I think, yeah, probably around here. Maybe it's a little too rotated. Yeah, let's go with this. We can always adjust this, but just to start, we're gonna start here. Do we want it a little bigger? Maybe just a touch somewhere here. That's too much. Okay, let's go with this. Once we finish, back to layer properties where we're gonna increase the opacity and we're gonna go into the masking. Now we can use the brush to remove everything we don't need, but we can speed up the process by going into the background removal AI. So let's select that and let's allow the computer to basically create an automatic mask for us. Now it did pretty decent job. We can zoom in a little bit closer. Again, this is a painting, so it's not perfect and we're not looking for perfection. We just want to make sure that it's going to work. So make sure that your main object is selected and everything that is red will stay on the image and whatever isn't red will disappear. How it's going to happen? Well, we're going to click on the remove button. Let's have a look. And that's not bad at all. Very, very cool. Now, you can always click on the refinements brush and adjust what you see. Don't forget that the transition represents the area between the object, which is the orange area, and background, which is the blue area. So you can brush around, fine tune it. But for us, we're just going to go back and we're going to continue from here. Well, what we need to do, we need to hide all of this, right? Because it doesn't look great. For this, now we're going to use the brush. So into the brush, into the erase, start with 100% softness, yes, strength also. And let's just take care of the main part here. Just very quickly, let's brush all of this away. Now we could keep it like this. He would just be a little bit more hairy, but it's not great. And actually, it's easier if we go back into the properties, adjust the opacity a little bit down so we can see what's below. So let's zoom in a little bit closer with, let's say around 65, we can see it better. So back to masking, back to brush, erase, yes, and brushing away. There you go. Perfect. Just make it nice and natural on this part. Definitely over here, we want this part to be visible. Let's have a look. We can always keep zooming in closer. And this is probably around the time when we need to again bring back our opacity. But before we do that, just zoom in closer and let's say that we will actually remove this part completely from around the mouth. Now, keep adjusting your brush or the size of the brush with the bracket keys. And let's just brush away all these kind of warm or blonde parts of the fur. So this way we're going to create a little bit of a depth. So we don't want to brush away the teeth, but we want to brush away whatever is inside of the mouth. So let's start with the detailed part. I think something like this. Again, keep an eye on the tooth. And then we can make the brush bigger and just brush away whatever is left to be brushed away. So zooming back up. This looks good. Maybe just a little bit around the teeth here. A little bit more here. Perfect. Now, back to our properties. Let's increase the opacity. So this looks okay, I think. This looks okay. I wonder if we should have left a little bit of the fur here. Or what we can do, we can actually get reduce of it here. So opacity back again. Masking, brush still on erase. And let's go ahead and do a little bit more fur cutting, I guess would be the right word, and brush all of this away. This is good, good. It's looking great. So back to properties, increase it, and we are talking. Now we have a little bit of brighter halo here, but we will fix that just a little later. For the time being, it looks good. So next thing we need to do, well, our dog doesn't 100% match our scene, right? Maybe it's a little bit brighter than the rest, and the color grading or the colors aren't great neither. Now, how can we adjust this? Well, there is a little shortcut to do this. If we jump into the creative section and open the color transfer tool, we will then be able to borrow the colors and luminosity or luminance from the background, from the frame. How to do that? Well, click on reference selection and then click on the plus sign. From here, again, navigate towards the sample files and select the image with the frame. Click on open. The image will load, and let's give it a moment to apply the color grading and the luminosity. Wow, look at that. That's so much better. Let's have a look at it. Before, so warm. After, much better. Wow, I really like it. That looks really cool. Now, let's see. If we adjust the amount, actually, I don't think we have to. I think it's about good. What's the default? 60. Let's quickly have a look one more time. Before and after. No, I think it's good. We're going to keep it. So let's close the color transfer tool. And before we're going to do anything else, let's take care of the little halo. So make sure you still have the dog selected, jump into layer properties, again in masking, and you know what to do, into the brush and into the erase. We're going to zoom in, quite tight. Now softness on 100, strength on 100 as well. And let's go and brush these edges. Gently, but surely. You can take your time. Ideally, you would be only brushing with the edge of the brush and only removing the areas which have that little glow. If you make a mistake, hit X, that will bring you back, and you can start to paint back the layer again. If you need, you can always zoom in a little bit closer and just basically take it from there. Take your time with it. I will just do a quick part here because I'm sure now you're getting the idea. But you take your time. So let's have a look at it. That's already much better here. Again, you will just continue brushing away these areas, making sure that you're removing this halo. Okay, so that is the halo around the dog. Now, there's another thing we need to do. Looking at the frame, you can see that there is a little bit of a shadow and darker area here and also around here. So we should recreate that on the dog. And this can be done really easily. Still make sure that you have the dog selected. Jump into the professional section, select the dodge and burn, and we're going to need the darkening, right? Because we're going to be creating darker parts. From here, we just need to adjust the strength. Now I like to go really low to 5 and to build it in. So we're going to go here and we're going to start by just brushing over the ear, making it a little bit darker. Equally on this side, just following the kind of shadow which is on the image already anyway. That is good. Maybe on the edge here as well. Definitely under here. And maybe even down here, right? Because when you look at it, there is a shadow here. There's definitely shadow here. Maybe also here. Now we can just kind of work in a little bit of contrast using the brush stroke. I think something like this looks good. Now we're looking good. However, when you look at the image, you can see that there are darker parts here and brighter parts here. It's like the light is coming from this direction. And it's not the same on the dog. So how can we adjust this? Well, the easiest way is to use a tool called Studio Light. It's in a portrait section. So just above where we are now, click on it, open it. And the first thing I want you to do is to simply increase the amount. Once you do that, when you hover over your image, you will get this little white dot, which you can then reposition. Now, it does take a moment for the application to create a mask on the subject, but once it happens, you can then move the little dot and adjust the light. And by doing that, we can recreate the idea that the light was coming from here. Cool, right? So position it wherever you want. I will probably go for something like this. And double check the before and after. We can adjust the amount if you think it's too strong. And we can also adjust the light contrast, which will basically create a bigger contrast between the light source and the rest of the photo. So if you go like this, it will be too crazy. But for us, maybe just 1 or 2. Increase the light a little bit. Adjust the location just a little bit. I think somewhere around here. And that's good. Close the Studio Light tool and let's just double check what we have created. We have the frame, we have the dog added, everything looks good. So it's time to blend it all together by applying some global adjustments. How to do that? Well, to merge the layers, we need to head back to Layers panel, select the image with the dog, if you don't have it selected yet, then hold Command or Control, select the layer under with the frame, right-click on both and select Merge Layers. What's going to happen now? Well, the application will merge the layers and create the new third layer on the top, which we will be then able to adjust globally. Before we going to continue, just a quick reminder that both the frame as well as the canvas texture we're going to use in a moment are from our brand new Furry Bundle. It was just released and it's a really cool bundle that includes over 470 pet focus editing tools. It includes presets, LUTs, skies, but also overlays like this, as well as textures and backgrounds. So if you have a dog, cat or any other pet and you would like to create something really special, then this bundle is for you. And to get it for a best possible price, simply follow the link in the description of this video. Anyway, going back to our project, where in the meantime our layer is merged, and what it basically means is that now when we apply any edit to it, it will apply it to the dog as well as the frame. Now from here into the main editing toolbar, where we're gonna head to the creative section and this time into the mood tool. Now to color blend everything together, we're gonna use the power of LUTs, and in this case, let's just use one of the LUTs that come with the application. So we head into the cinematic toning, where I'm a massive fan of the Long Beach. Click on it to apply it, double check the before and after, and you can already see the difference. After this, close the mood tool, and the next tool that works really well with this type of photo is the matte tool. When we apply the matte tool, it will just make it a little bit more vintage, maybe with a little bit of extra fade, and just, a little bit more realistic. Double check before and after. After the matte tool, final thing before applying our canvas texture is to go into the vignette. In the vignette, simply take the amount and bring it down. Now, we want it quite a lot, I think somewhere around maybe -60. And let's not have it centered on a center. Let's click on Choose Subject and just shift it tiny bit towards the left. By doing that, we again follow the light which is already on the image and just creating little interesting environment. Double check before and after. By the way, you can always jump into the advanced settings and just add a little bit of inner light, just maybe something like this. Now to finish it off, while we working with canvas and oil paintings, we need a little bit of that canvas texture. Nothing easier than just going back to our layers panel, click on the plus sign, click on load image, back to our sample files where you're going to select the canvas texture. Click on open. Once it appears, select it and add it to our layers panel. Here, as you can see, it has the wrong direction. So what we can do very easily, just rotate it around, quickly shift it around and make it a little bit bigger so it covers the entire image. Now, it doesn't look great, right? Well, it's really easily fixed into the layer properties where we can increase the opacity to 100 and now we can't see nothing. So into the blend mode drop-down box where we're gonna shift from normal into, well, whatever you like. Overlay is a little bit too dark. So what I like to use is a soft light. Once you apply it, then we do have to adjust the opacity again. Let's bring it down and let's see, probably somewhere around 18 or maybe let's go for 40, and maybe we can go into masking, select the brush, click on erase, increase the size, go for about 30, and just gently maybe brush away the texture a little bit from our main subject. And that's about it. Let's close the layer properties and let's go back to the catalog module where we can look at where we started. Again, we started with the original photo, turn it into the oil painting, and working it in, we have ended up with a really cool result. By the way, before you're going to leave and apply this new knowledge to your own pet, why not continue learning with one of our exciting tutorials? We have a great tutorial which will teach you everything you need to know about all the blend modes in Luminar NEO, or you can also watch the little Luminar NEO overlay masterclass. Both of the tutorials should be on your screen now, so you can follow them. And if not, don't forget to subscribe, because we do have a video tutorial for every single tool in this application, and we are here to help you to keep moving forward on your photo editing journey.